Hey there, Stampers. Welcome to part 3 of my video series working through the Snow Days Scrapbooking Workshop Kit from Stampin' Up. So this is one of our brand new workshop kits. We have 4 of them. We've got this winter themed one. We've got a reindeer one, which is kind of Christmassy. We've got a fall themed one and a Halloween one. And I will post a link to where you can see all of those workshop kits. And if you aren't familiar with what a workshop kit is, be sure to check out part 1 of this video series where I go into detail about what exactly it is, what's included, and I also walk you through how to use it. And then in the second video, which I will also link in the description below, I create the second layout because each one of our workshop kits includes the supplies to create 3 2-page layouts. And in this one, I'm going to walk you through the third 2-page layout, and then there's still one more video to come where I will share what I plan on doing with the pieces that I have left. Okay? All right, so let me just share a quick peek at what I've created so far. And you know what? I just realized I think I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada. And thank you so much for joining me today. All right, so this was the first layout that I created based on the contents of the workshop kit. I did make some slight modifications to this 2-page spread. Again, check out the first video to find out what those changes were. And then here is the second 2-page spread. Again, some modifications were made because I had my photos that I wanted to use, and my photos were different sizes and different orientations to the photos that they had suggested. So I wanted to walk you through different ways that you could do that. And I also added some fun little elements as well. All right, so let's jump into layout number 3. So this will be the final one that is made based on the kit. However, I do have lots of pieces left. So this is what I have left for stickers, which I will likely use most of them today. Some of them I likely won't, but then I still have some scraps of pattern paper. So I know that there's at least enough scraps to make probably another 2-page spread and maybe a couple cards. I'm not sure. So we'll see what I end up doing with the rest of the pieces. That will be video number 4. Okay, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of these videos. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. All right, so this is the layout that is going to be our starting point. And you can see that I've got my photos. I have 4 3x4 photos and 6 2x2 photos. So this layout actually calls for 1 3x3, 2 3x4s, and a 4x4. So I've completely changed it, but I'm going to keep the pieces the same measurement. So I'm not trimming anything down. Unlike the previous video, I did end up cutting a few of those pieces and eliminating some of the pattern paper pieces. This video, or for this layout, I'm not going to, but I am going to add some things in. Okay. All right. So let me just kind of explain what I've done here. So I have matted my photos onto one solid piece of white. So instead of using these, because not all of these were the page or the placeholders for these, they're not all the same size. So instead of using those, I just matted it on some white cardstock, and that was left over because I didn't end up matting my photos on some of the previous layouts. So I had some white 12x12 cardstock from my kit left over. And then I also cut this one. So this one's going to be over here. So you might be wondering why I left this so long. But my plan is, just like here, they've included a little spot for journaling. So I've got my journaling that I think I'm going to put there. And then I think this is going to be an area for my title, I think. If not, then I might just trim it down. So I didn't want to trim it down until I decide for sure. Okay. Okay, now that I talked through the photos, I want to point out something else. Okay, because the base of our layout is cardstock. Our cardstock that is included in these workshop kits are 2-toned cardstock. So you can see if you look at these, hopefully it's showing up on video, This is true pool party, and then this is a lighter shade of pool party. So you want both of, well, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have both of your background pieces the same, but I want them both the same. And because this has a lot of pool party in it, I'm actually going to flip it over and use the light side. It would look good on either one, but I want to use the light side for this one. So you'll want to decide whether you want them both the same for your layouts, or if you want them different. And if you do want them the same, make sure that you've got them flipped over the right way. Okay. And then I've pulled out the pieces because remember I had labeled all my pieces. If you watch the previous videos, I use Post-it notes for that. You can write on the back as well, but I prefer not to do that just in case I want to use the back side of the paper. Okay, so these two pieces are meant to go like that. Same on this side, those two pieces are meant to go like that. And then we've got some of this candy cane paper that's meant to go on here, and this piece is meant to go this way, but I prefer it on this side. So I'm going to flip it over and use that. But what I want to do is I feel like I just need another layer in there. I really want this layer to pop off the page. So just like in the second video, I'm going to pull in some Poppy Parade cardstock. So I trimmed this just a 1/4 of an inch larger than the candy cane. And look how that just pops off the page. Just adding that extra layer of cardstock in there. So I think this was 6 1/4 by 10 1/4 maybe, because I think this was 6 by 10. I double checked the measurements. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it was. But see how that just pops off the page? It looks so good. And then these photos, I'm going to line them up with the edge like this. I haven't decided if I'm going to mat these in Poppy Parade as well. But the next thing I want to do is see how there's so much white on this background, and then this white layer, it's just not showing up very much. I want to put a little bit of distinction behind that. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take some Memento ink, and I don't really want to put this on just in case I've got ink on here. Okay, so I've grabbed a finger dauber and I'm just going to use my black ink. I'm going to test it out on this scrap piece of paper, and that's just going to make it stand out just a little bit, almost looking like there's a really, really fine black layer of cardstock without adding extra bulk. So I went around both of those, actually everything that holds photos, and then also around the journaling block. You can really see how that black around the edges really makes that journaling block pop off of that white there. So now I'm having a look at the layout and just trying to determine kind of the measurements, because remember the instructions go into so much detail, and they even include how far up to put these pieces. Now I did make a slight modification. I think I put it a little bit lower than what the instructions say. So, and I've already got my two pieces, the pool party pieces in the background, those are already stuck down. So I'm just working on this second piece, just adding some seal adhesive. Seal adhesive is my favorite adhesive for scrapbooking. I tend not to use a lot of liquid glue when I scrapbook. I just prefer a roll-on adhesive. All right, so I'm having a look, and now I'm going to position the little pattern paper strips that go across. And I believe those were put up about 1/2 inch from the bottom piece of the bottom of the pattern paper. So I'm just putting that across, and it felt like it was a little short, so I thought maybe I had them mixed up, but I just centered it. There's a tiny little smidge of a gap on either side, but it's okay. It's not noticeable. All right, and then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So I love that these workshop kits give me a starting place, but there's so much flexibility in them. You can, if you're not a fan of one of the layouts, you can completely change it up. You can do whatever with it. I love that you can add to it. Everything coordinates with Stampin' Up! Products, so it just makes it really easy. Okay, here I wanted to bring in one of these stamp sets. So this is the border stamp set. It's got some little dots and some little snowflakes from the Reindeer Memories stamp set. And I'm just stamping it with Pool Party ink on the Pool Party cardstock. So it's very subtle, but it's just a nice addition to the background because it is a cardstock background, so there's not a whole lot of pattern. So this just adds a little something to it. And then I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper and kind of tear it in half because I wanted to add one that goes across both pages. So you'll see me use a scrap piece of paper to kind of cover over the pieces that are already there because those are stuck down. So I'm just lining up the straight edges of those so that I don't stamp over top of the red cardstock and the pattern paper. All right, now I'm going to adhere those photo pieces. I still haven't adhered the one on the right-hand side because I'm not sure that I'm going to use it as is. And I've pulled out some greetings from the Snow Day stamp set. So my title is going to be What Fun, but I'm also going to stamp Better Together and Unforgettable Memories. So I'm stamping the word what in garden green, and then I'm going to stamp the word fun and the exclamation point in Poppy Parade. Those are two of the colors that are in this paper pack. And then the other two greetings, Better Together and Unforgettable Memories, I stamp in Memento, which is a black ink. And you can see I did the What Fun on 2 lines rather than on 1 because I do plan on fussy cutting that out. The Better Together and the Unforgettable Memories, I'm just going to cut them into strips so that they can get added here and there across my layout so that I have words in 3 different spots. Then I'll bring in my paper trimmer, trim these up, and fussy cut the What Fun. All right, and then it's just a matter of figuring out where I want to place them. I love how the What Fun looks, and popped up, that's going to look so great. So I'm thinking the Better Together kind of over here. I do end up changing it. You'll see a little bit later on. And the Unforgettable Memories, I'm going to add on the right-hand page, kind of at the bottom there. So I believe I flag it. Let me just take a look. Yeah, I flag the end, pop it up with dimensionals, but I also had a scrap piece of red and white baker's twine left over from the previous project. So I add that underneath. Oh, I guess not right now. That will come. Okay, so I've got my clear block out. I'm going to pull out the stickers that I want to use. In the sample, they also use the Explore and the Snow Much Fun. But those, because I use the stamped greetings, I won't use those on this layout. So I might save those for a future layout or future project. Okay, so I've decided to keep this, so I'm just going to add that on there. And the black detail that we added around the edges, I mean, it's showing up in some areas on the video, but it doesn't show up too much. But when you see the layout in person, it does really show up. So I'm just peeling off the backings. I'm going to pop these up. Kind of staggering them a little bit. So cute. And then I'm going to just kind of figure out the positioning. I initially thought, okay, let's put this tree over here. I didn't like it there. I wanted to add it over in that white space on the right-hand side. So I'm using my embossing buddy to take off some of the stickiness. Then I'll fill it with dimensionals or cover it with dimensionals. And that tree is going to get popped up, and I'll use another tree as well that will get stuck right on the white layer. All right, and I believe here is where I'm tying my bow for that bottom bit. Yeah, so I had a little scrap left over, so I just wanted to put that to use. So I'll use a mini glue dot to adhere that and then pop up the unforgettable memories with dimensionals and add that on there. And then we just need to figure out the placement for our embellishments or our stickers on the left-hand page. Okay, so I'm having a look again, referring back to the guide just to see where they've placed them. So they've placed them kind of here, I believe, but I'm not sold that that's where I want them. So I decide to go kind of a little bit closer to the center of the layout. So I just used my embossing buddy to take some of the stickiness off. We're going to add that penguin, and the tree is going to go kind of in behind. I'm still kind of auditioning them in different spots, but I do end up going with closer to the center there. So the tree is going to get stuck on flat. And again, just a reminder, if you don't have your photos, then you would not want to stick that down just yet because you'd want to tuck your photo underneath that. So you may want to either add that tree to dimensionals and not peel off the backing on one of them so that you could tuck your photo under and then you could peel off the backing, or maybe just leave the stickers until after you've got your photos in there. So I decided to put that better together up in the top left there, kind of tucked underneath as a little tuck in. And that really creates that kind of triangle for the words as well. I always like to create a triangle. So these are the loose white snowflakes. So I'm adding a few of these in a few different areas. And I'm just going to use my multi-purpose glue to adhere those. And then the layout is done. I love how it turned out. This kit, working with this kit was so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to working with the others. But make sure that you stop by again to see part 4 of this video series. Here's a little bit of a closer look of the layouts. And if you are not yet a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Take care.